I am called Som Randall, and I will be your teacher in terms of literature and English language for both the ordinary level and the advanced level in this YouTube channel. Do not forget to like, subscribe, share, and make sure to make a comment. Our lesson for today is going to be on literature in general. So what is literature? Most of you define literature as a work of art, but literature goes deeper than that. My own definition of literature that can be easy for you to master and easy for you to understand is that literature is a work of art which is an imitation of the society presented in a beautiful way. So that is the best definition of literature that you ever hear, of course. So when we talk of literature, of course, we must talk about these things that without them, literature do not exist. And if you don't notice it, if you did not notice it, this will be the first 10 questions in your MCQ, and of course, the steps towards being able to answer the structural and the essay questions given to you in both your paper 3 and your paper 2 for the ordinary level and the advanced level. So, what are these things that without them, literature do not exist? These things, we call them the elements of literature. These are things that without them, literature do not exist. There is no literature at all. Like there are things that without them, nature do not exist. We call them the elements of nature: water, fire, earth, or wind. Without them, nature do not exist. So these same steps apply to literature. So there are 5 basic elements of literature that without them, trust me, there is no literature. And when you are going in for the exams and you are writing your essay or your structural questions, when the examiner is marking, those are the things he is looking for when he is marking your paper, both for the ordinary level and the advanced level. So what are these 5 basic elements of literature? The first element we are going to be talking about is the plot. So what is the plot? The plot is a sequential arrangement of events in a story. What does that mean? It means that as a story starts, it has a particular purpose. It must have an introduction, it must have a body, and it must have a conclusion. It doesn't matter whether the story starts by the ending of the story, but that should be the introduction. And what is the importance of the plot? The plot is there to set everything for you. The introduction of the plot is there to set everything for you to understand the various elements you are going to be looking for when you are going to be reading the text or when you are going to be answering your question. So when we talk about the plot, of course, most of you know about this triangle. What is this triangle all about? It's how the plot moves in every story. It can be in a play, it can be in a novel, it can even be in a poem. All stories written down have a particular plot. So in this triangle that you all know, which represents the plot, what is the first thing that comes on it? It is the introduction. I'm going to use simple terms so that all of us are going to be knowing what we're going to easily understand in the exams. So the first thing that appears in the plot is the introduction. So what is the introduction all about? This introduction is generally made up of a general story that helps you to understand what the scene is all about. In drama, it takes the form of stage narration, like it can easily take the form of a monologue. In novels, for example, it takes the form of a prologue. That is the introduction. In poetry, of course, there's not a specific word to it, but we just need to know that it is the actual introduction to the story that helps us to better understand, that helps us to set the scene, help us to visualize what the story is going to be all about. So moving from the introduction of the story, we move to what we call the rising action. As the word says, rising. So as you encounter more actions into the story, that is how the excitement starts moving up. You know about more and more about the story. You know about the various characters. You know about what are their various roles. You know about the different places they go to and what is the different encounters they have. That is what we call the rising action, because the rising action gives you more information about the story. The introduction just set the scene. It makes you to understand what the story is going to be talking about in general. But what is this rising action? The rising action just gives you a detailed idea of what the story is going to be all about. From the rising action, we have what we call the climax. That's what we get to at the peak of the story, the climax. What is this climax all about? Imagine, for example, you are watching a movie and it's a horror movie, and you see there are two characters. One is running, and the other one is running after the other. So the other one has a stick, and he wants to hit the other character, but the other character who is running away succeed in hiding himself. From there, the action is rising, right? And you see, at some point, you start feeling some kind of excitement. So as the second character is hiding himself and the first character is going after him, you see he enters a hall, and when the first character with the stick is about to enter the hall where the second character is hiding to hit him, you are excited. You want to know what is going to happen. Is he going to hit him with the stick, or is he going to fail in hitting him with the stick? So that particular excitement that you feel at some point in a story is what we call the climax of the story. From the climax of the story, we have what we call the falling action. What is this falling action all about? The falling action is about moving from that point of excitement, falling down to a cool and calm place. So imagine the first character was about to burst into that room, and to hit the second character. But when that happens, he enters and finds no one. So you see that the excitement fell at that particular moment, and that urge, that excited feeling you had at that particular moment just calmed down. That's what we call the falling action. In the story, from being in a point of excitement, calming down to where there is actually nothing exciting happening. That is what we call the falling action. And that falling action at some point is moving towards the end of the story, kind of moving towards the end of the story. So after the falling action, we have what we call the denouement, because normally it's a French word, it's a denouement, or you can call it in English the resolution. For those who want to easily understand what I'm talking about, you can call it the conclusion. So what is this conclusion all about? This conclusion is all about the closing of the story. How does the end look like? Did the main characters succeed in achieving what they wanted to achieve? Did they fail? Did the villain, did the bad people succeed? Did the good people succeed? That is all about the conclusion, the resolution of the story. What is the ending all about? That was all about the plot. We now move to the characters. What are characters? I can easily define characters as people or things, even animals, that have a particular role in the story. Why do I say things or animals? Because characters cannot just be human beings. There are stories that you can read, and the main acting characters there are animals. So let's take, for example, the various cartoons you watch on TV. For example, when you watch Baby Shark for the little kids, you see that Baby Shark is a character of the series, but Baby Shark is not a human being. So a character can be a person, it can be a thing, even a desk can be a character, or even an animal. So there are two types of characters that you need to know. And of course, I believe you all know that there are two types of characters. There are what we call flat characters with their official names, and round characters. So what are these flat characters all about? These flat characters are also called minor characters. These flat characters are also called minor characters. So what are these minor characters? What are these flat characters that we are talking about? Flat characters or minor characters are these characters who hold little or no role in a story. I mean, either you just stand there, either they're just there to be there. They hold little or no role. Their importance or the impact they have in the story is so insignificant that you cannot consider them as complete characters of the story. So the second type of characters that we have are round characters. So who are these round characters? Round characters can also be called measure characters. There is a difference between main character and measure characters. Sorry, there can be one, two, or few main characters, but there can be many measure characters. So What are these measure or these round characters we are talking about? This measure or round characters we are talking about are these characters who have two or more roles in the story. It means that their presence in the story significantly impacts what the story is all about. It means that without them, it will be difficult for us to understand the various steps, the various things that are happening in the story, because those characters must move from this place for us to understand something, from that place to this place for us to understand something. And as they are moving, they encounter different people, and it's because of them that we easily understand the plot development. The plot development is what helps the story to move gradually towards its closing. So these round characters significantly help in that process. That was the second element of literature, which are the characters. Because we first of all talked about the plot. We just ended talking about the characters.